Hey guys, welcome back to another Mythic Legions action figure review. Today we're taking a look at Duban from the All-Star 5 series. On the back of the box we have the same artwork here as the Ilithia wave, featuring artwork of the goddess vampire Ilithia with a few small pictures of characters from this wave and a couple of short paragraphs on the lore of Mythic Legions. On the side of the box we have a small picture of Duban and some background information on the character. Mythic Legions come in collectible friendly packaging, easy to remove the cardboard without having to tear open any of the plastic. Each accessory is wrapped in its own bag, with all the small pieces coming in a Ziploc bag now. A human from the northern reaches of Mythos, Duban is a ranger who is deeply connected with nature, and one of the only few human members of Xynola's flock. Duban spends his days traveling to and from different outposts and guard units, usually as a messenger delivering important information to and from commanders. As a trained Hawkmaster, Duban is never without his loyal hawk, providing scouting intelligence to key locations. Duban's effort helped maintain peace in a world that's slowly falling to the evils of the war for Mythos. Let's check out some of the details. A large green hood wraps around the entire head. Underneath we have a dark skin complexion with bright green eyes and bushy black eyebrows and a full beard, with a few light highlights showing Duban's older age. On the side we have a better look at the cloth hood, sculpted with wrinkles and fold in the cloth and textured with a thick cloth pattern effect. Bright silver metal plates cover the chest, decorated with a pointed chevron pattern at the center of the chest, with tips ending in a small leaf detail. Towards the stomach we have a large brown belt wrapping around the entire body, with another smaller darker belt on top of it, detailed with a silver buckle and notches in the straps. On the back we have a similar design to the front of the chest, except this area is completely flat. We also have 3 large sockets here on the back, with the 2 upper sockets being used for shoulder armor later on in the review. We can see the rest of the belts wrap around the figure here as well, just 2 different textures and colors of leather. On the shoulder we have a tunic worn underneath the heavy armor, a tanned colored cloth, sculpted with many wrinkles and waves, with the heavy cloth texture detailed with the sculpting. The cloth tunic is tucked into the metal forearm bracers, detailed with small plates of armor and secured to the arms with small black belts. Padded dark green leather gloves cover the hands, with large leather sections covering the back of the hands and the fingers fully covered. A studded green leather skirt is worn protecting the thighs, in a thick cracked leather texture with small rivets dotted all around the armor. At the center we have a small tan section of that cloth tunic worn underneath the armor sticking out. On the back we have a similar design of the skirt, this time with much less silver rivets, only dotting the bottom row of the leather gear. On the thighs we have dark brown pants in a heavy cloth fabric sculpted with large wrinkles and textured just like the tunic with a rough heavy cloth texture. The knees and legs are covered in a bright silver armor with a similar design matching the chest, sharp points at the center dotted with rivets on the sides. On the back we can see the green leather boots reaching up to the knees, with black straps wrapping around the legs securing the armor in the front of the legs. We wrap up the details with the boots of the figure. Green leather boots with a rough texture and a few details like sections of the shoe, and a heel on the sole of the boot. Let's take a look at the articulation. We have a ball joint at the head, but the hood will restrict a lot of movement in this area. We have a shoulder that opens and rotates all around. Elbows that bend about 90 degrees at max and rotate. Wrists that rotate and bend up and down. We have a ball joint at the waist only, with the larger 1.0 figures not having that chest joint. And while we have a lot of gear here and the leather skirt, the cuts in the skirt actually allow full range of motion on the legs, with the legs being able to fully open and bend forward and back thanks to these cuts. We have thighs that rotate, knees that bend back and rotate, ankles that bend up and down and rotate, and we have a foot that twists. Next to a similar Hawkmaster figure, Duban fits right into the scale with the rest of Mythic Legion's 1.0 bodies, even while using mostly newly updated parts. Posed next to a figure with more classic parts, we can see that it's about the same in shape and height. Next to some standard 6-inch Hasbro-sized figures, we can see how big Mythic Legion scales up to other 6-inch lines, just a bit taller. Next to McFarlane's 7-inch scale, Duban just comes up a bit short, showing just how Mythic Legions are on the taller end of the 6-inch scale of figures. We have a pair of newer style shoulder armor, matching that same silver color as the rest of the armor. And just like in my last review, the shoulder pegs are either too large or the sockets have become smaller. Regardless, it looks like we're going to have to be heating up the socket to install them. After heating the figure up, I used hot water. The shoulder armor easily pegs into the sockets on the back, even allowing rotation to get better shoulder articulation while wearing them. We get a very impressive cape, made of a high quality cloth and sewn together at the top, forming a small hole. The cape has wires at the edge for holding a pose with the cloth. To install the cape, you pop off the head and use the small hole that's sewn together to thread the neck peg through. After sliding in the cloth, you can then just pop the head right on top. Afterwards, you can bend and pose the metal wires inside the cloth to hold dynamic cloth poses. We get an additional 3 pairs of hands, starting with the fist. An extra pair of grabbing hands for weapons like swords. And we get a pair of grasping hands. Installing the hands is as easy as removing the default installed hands and then just pegging in the replacements. You might notice we have an extra pair of default hands. While I don't know why 4 Horsemen decided to include them, the only difference is that the extra hands bend side to side, while the default hands bend up and down. We get a hawk resting on a bracer figure, painted very well. The neck of the hawk can also rotate. To install the hawk, you first need to remove the hand. After, you can secure the leather bracer it stands on to the top of the hand and lock it into place by reinstalling the hand. We have a one-handed longsword in a brown sheath that has a clip on the back. The sheath is removable, exposing the silver blade underneath. We have a dwarven style dagger in a grey handle in silver blade color. And we get a brown and dark grey crossbow with a small stretchy string that bends back. And already equipped on the figure was the new style of belts, made to fit the 1.0 bodies, detailed much nicer than the classic belts. Duban is a perfect representation of what 4 Horsemen is capable of, with clever use of paint, unique head sculpt, and the new cloth accessories. I'm extremely impressed with how Duban turned out to be, especially thanks to how well the cloth good works and blends in with the plastic on the figure, matching the color of the hood perfectly. While he shares many similarities with the vampire Vallak, the use of cloth, paint, and unique head sculpt completely transforms the base body into a unique looking figure. If you're unsure on how cloth will work with Mythic Legions, Duban is the perfect figure to get your hands on to convince you that this is the way to move forward on for Mythic Legions. Duban comes with an incredible amount of accessories. I had to go back and check that this wasn't a fully priced deluxe figure. We have the standard 3 weapons and shoulder armor, and the weapons we do get are all of the new 2.0 style weapons, so no more basic swords and daggers. And on top of the base accessories, we also get the hawk that's only been seen once before in a new paint job and head sculpt, and an impressive amount of hands, more than is honestly needed, but I'm glad to have. The fabric cloak is one of the nicest accessories out of Mythic Legions yet. I've seen furs, capes, and other smaller pieces, but this cloak takes it. It's high quality, thick, and matches the plastic color very well, and comes with the built-in bendable wires for dynamic posing, makes the value of this figure insanely good. Duban is packed with accessories. I feel Duban is going to be one of the hidden gems of this wave. With amazing accessories, a great sculpt, unique look, and early look, it's a figure with many accessories that lets you configure him into a bunch of different ways for display. The cloak can be bended back to form as a cape, or you can display him as a ranger as intended, or just come up with your own style. It's a great look into the future of 4 Horsemen's Mythic Legions. The line has been going on for so long and improving that it's worth the longer pre-order waits. I'm definitely impressed every new wave we get. The in-store sale should be kicking off soon, so if you missed out on the All-Star 5 pre-orders, definitely make sure to keep an eye out for this amazing figure. I would definitely recommend it to all collectors, especially if you're looking to get back into Mythic Legions. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Leave a comment letting me know how you like this figure, subscribe, or share this video with your friends to help out the channel.